Are you still thinking that the jungle world has nothing to offer other than flowering plants and exotic animals? Far from it. In truth, things are hidden in the dense undergrowth that we would not even have dared to dream of. From enigmatic artifacts to boiling rivers to creatures whose existence no one can explain, here are some terrifying jungle discoveries that will leave us in awe. Before we get started, be sure to hit the like button and ring the notification bell for more videos. Also, stick around until the end to hear about one of the most bizarre and disturbing discoveries in the jungle. Coxy. Who knows what creatures lurk deep in the heart of the jungle? Well, Percy Fawcett knew. The explorer is generally known for his search for the lost city of Z and his unexplained disappearance. However, during his expeditions into the South American jungle, the Brit also heard some chilling stories about incredible people. According to the reports of indigenous tribes, they were not normal people, but huge ape-like creatures that communicate with grunts and are extremely aggressive. In 1914, Fawcett and his men are said to have personally met the enigmatic Coxy. The frightening figures, over 3 meters tall, were even about to attack the Brits' team. However, the men managed to fend off the attackers at the last second by firing their rifles at the ground, after which the Coxy retreated into the undergrowth. There has been no trace of Fawcett since 1925. Some believe he starved to death in the jungle. Others think he was killed by locals. Still others think it's possible that Fawcett joined a tribe and spent the rest of his days peacefully in the jungle. Shanai Timpishka. Watch out for frostbite. If our local rivers are too cold for you, the Shanai Timpishka in the Peruvian jungle would be just the thing for you. After all, the average temperature of the water is a comfortable 86 degrees Celsius. But joking aside, what gives the river its bubbling properties is still not clear, because the nearest volcanoes are actually around 700 kilometers away. However, we now know that the body of water is fed by rainfall, although we have no idea in which area this occurs. For the natives, however, the boiling river has always been sacred. For centuries, shamans have come to this mysterious place to contact the spirits. In addition, some animals and plants have also successfully adapted to the extreme conditions of the hot river. Sentinelese. We are sending space probes to the edge of the solar system and eradicating diseases that used to mean certain death. But these Sentinelese get none of this. In fact, it's one of the last isolated peoples on our globe. To keep it that way, the locals defend their North Sentinel Island by any means possible. Since past attempts at contact have often ended in blood, it has been strictly forbidden to set foot on the island in the Indian Ocean for some time. However, this did not stop the American missionary John Allen Chau from sneaking onto the island in 2018 to convert the Sentinelese to Christianity. However, it didn't take long for John to be killed by the islanders, and his body was never recovered. Mysterious rings. Who created the mysterious ring trenches in the Amazon rainforest, and why? Similar to the Nazca lines of Peru, we have no idea what these structures are really about. Some researchers believe the objects were used as burial sites, while others believe they may have been used as defensive structures. Particularly controversial is the theory that these are ancient UFO landing sites. But even the earthly attempts at an explanation raise more questions than answers. Where did early humans get the necessary means to put on the rings? Do we need to completely rethink the history of the Amazon? Even if it'll probably take some time before these mysteries are solved, it's already clear that the structures discovered so far represent only the tip of the archaeological iceberg. How many other traces are still slumbering in the densely overgrown jungle regions? No one can currently foresee. stone balls. When the United Fruit Company began clearing the Costa Rican jungle in the early 1930s, workers came across strange stone balls among the charred plants. Rumors soon spread that the artifacts were filled with gold, but subsequent demolitions proved the opposite. Over 350 of these strange objects have been recovered so far. While some balls are only a few centimeters in size, others are over 2 meters in diameter and weigh 15 tons. Researchers found pottery around 2,000 years old near some stone spheres, but other accompanying finds were more than 1,000 years younger. The artifacts were probably created by the ancestors of the Baruca Indians, but this thesis cannot be proven. Equally unresolved is the question of their intended use. The objects may have had a religious background. In addition, we don't know how people at that time managed to work out such perfect forms and then transport the structures, some of which weighed several tons, to their intended places. The City of Giants. It's 2012 when the ruins of an ancient site are discovered in the jungles of Ecuador, but the relics, overgrown with plants, were anything but normal. In detail, we're dealing here with extremely massive structures, some of which extend up to 80 meters in height. At the top of this massive pyramidal structure is a flat plane of polished stone. Experts assume that this place once served as a sacrificial altar. The enigmatic settlement is also known as the City of Giants because of the impressive structures, each of which consist of huge blocks weighing several tons. And indeed, some people believe that the site was not created by ordinary people, but by gigantic creatures. This theory is also supported by some discovered tools. These were simply too heavy and too cumbersome to be used by ordinary people. Do you think that incarnate giants once roamed our globe? Let us know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Michael Rockefeller. What happened to Michael Rockefeller? This question has remained unanswered since November 18, 1961. What is certain is that the son of the future U.S. Vice President had recently embarked on a research trip to Western New Guinea. The goal was to gain new information about the indigenous people of the Dani, but Rockefeller later decided to delve even deeper into the jungle to deepen his knowledge. What really happened to the 21-year-old back then is uncertain. Since Michael was traveling by boat, he could have drowned or been killed by a crocodile. However, a few years later, footage would emerge showing a white man among the ranks of the Asmat tribe. Then, in 2015, stories from older Asmat became known that told of a shipwrecked white man. Stonehead. The story of the Stonehead of Guatemala is a curiosity in itself. Originally discovered in the jungle in the 1950s, the Caucasian facial features of the colossal skull posed a great mystery even then. After all, the appearance did not fit into the corresponding region at all. Decades passed and the enigmatic structure fell more and more into oblivion. When a certain Oscar Padilla finally rediscovered the Stonehead, it was in a pitiful state. The countless holes indicated that the object had been used by rebel troops for target practice. Because the head cannot be assigned to any known pre-Hispanic culture, some researchers believe it represents the work of an ancient lost civilization. Particularly creative spirits stretch the explanation attempts even a bit further. In truth, the existence of the stone skull proves that the ancient peoples were in contact with extraterrestrial intelligences. Giant Amazon water lily. Let's take a look at one of the most impressive plant species in the Amazon rainforest. As the name of the giant water lilies already suggests, the dimensions of the plants exceed all common dimensions. Typically, we find the Victoria amazonica, the official name of the plant, in the shallow waters of the South American jungle. The visible part of the giant water lily, the so-called leaf blade, has a fabulous diameter of up to 3 meters. The style, which is below the surface of the water brings it to a length of 8 meters. With these dimensions, the imposing aquatic plants are able to carry loads of up to 50 kilograms. However, the Victoria amazonica only shows its bloom for 2 days before it wilts. Typically, the water lilies first bloom in the early evening, presenting themselves in a rich white color and exuding a sweet pineapple scent. The odor given off serves the purpose of attracting certain beetles, which are responsible for pollination. In the morning, the water lily closes, then opens its flower one last time the following evening. This time, however, it's pink in color. The flower, after being pollinated by the beetles, then sinks to the bottom of the water, where the seeds will develop and rise another day. Zombie mushroom. Unbelievable but true, a mushroom capable of mind control has been discovered in the tropical forest. Once an ant has been infested with Ophiocordyceps unilaterals, it turns into a mindless zombie. But how is that even possible? First, the hyphae, as the filaments of the fungus, penetrate the head of the crawling creature. From there, the parasitic fungus makes its way to the brain, where it drastically alters its host's behavior. As if by magic, the ant then goes to a place that offers the perfect living conditions for the fungus. The insect is manipulated in such a way that it bites the underside of a leaf or the bark of a tree, only to die afterwards. In the lifeless body of the ant, the fungus can now develop new fruiting bodies and spores, which either fall to the ground or are carried by the wind to new victims. Fossil finds dating back 48 million years show that this manipulation behavior has an ancient history. Even then, the ants had bitten themselves into leaves in an unnatural way. What initially seems both strange and frightening has exciting potential in the world of medicine. According to this, the zombie mushrooms contain some substances that could help to find a cure for tumors. Carnivorous parasites. Admittedly, the sight of a full-grown jaguar or anaconda can be frightening. However, we shouldn't forget that the greatest danger sometimes comes from those creatures that we don't even know how to see with the naked eye. It all started so promisingly. In 2011, a research team managed to discover the legendary city of La Mosquita in the Honduran jungle. The settlement, dedicated to the monkey god, was probably abandoned by the Aztecs around 1520 after a serious wave of disease broke out. At that time, the indigenous people still believed that they had fallen victim to divine punishment. However, the researchers were shocked to discover that it was a plague that was still real. In fact, many expedition members became infected with the disease, which can be traced back to flesh-eating parasites. The pathogen migrated into the mucous membranes of the mouth and nose and practically ate them up. Had the researchers not been treated promptly, some of them might have lost their lives. Mysterious images. It's the year 1999 when clearing work in the Amazon rainforest reveals an ancient secret: the existence of mysterious, strikingly large images of the Earth. In detail, these so-called geoglyphs present themselves in a wide variety of geometric shapes, such as squares and circles. Many of these ancient works are linked by straight paths. In detail, the images of the Earth extend over an area of 250 kilometers, and their origin could be dated between the years 200 and 1283 AD. Why people went to the trouble of digging such huge structures into the ground is completely unclear. What is certain, however, is that the discovery of the Amazon geoglyphs has completely shaken our previous view of history. The approximately 200 Earth images discovered are in stark contradiction to the assumption that only small settlements existed in the area at that time. The effort that went into the making of the Earth images suggests much more that we are dealing with the work of a large, coherent civilization. In fact, we find such mysterious scratching images in some other countries. In addition to the world-famous Nazca lines in Peru, such geoglyphs were also created in North America and Kazakhstan. Aliens. Forget the eerie reports of flying saucers in the night sky. In truth, the aliens are already among us in the Brazilian rainforest. At least that's what those who believe in the authenticity of a photo taken in Manaus in 2011 think. And in fact, we recognize two bizarre figures in the background on the recording, which cannot be assigned to any life form known to us. Knowing that the region is already known for its numerous UFO sightings makes the picture even creepier. But whether fake or not, the so-called Operation Prato suggests that there may be something to the inexplicable reports. Between 1977 and 78, after increasing rumors about unidentified flying objects, the Brazilian Air Force carried out a large-scale reconnaissance mission. Officially, however, the investigation was discontinued without any results. The fact that one of the mission participants was found dead in his house after he'd conducted an interview with a convinced ufologist a few weeks earlier is something we simply leave uncommented at this point. Hey guys, your opinion matters. Which jungle discovery fascinated you the most? And how do you look at the mysteries of the rainforest after our video? We'd be happy to receive your comments. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to learn more about the jungle's greatest mysteries soon. Thanks for watching. Take care and see you next time.